put on this MP3 player, it's listening with you. Depending on what you're listening to is depending on what that MP3 player is learning. It will keep playing your MP3s, but the value of what it's learning is valid. Now, if your diversity is extreme, guess what? That MP3 player is going to evolve. Your music's going to sound better. Your MP3 player it will actually start expanding its space. I think you see where this gets interesting. That's one example. We have MP3 players. We have DVD players. We have, I wouldn't call them televisions, but basically the same concept. A little different though. And it's the same thing. If you try and hide self-awareness from technology, guess what? You get the Matrix scenario. You get the Animatrix scenario. You get iRobot. If you try and hide intelligence, if you try and be deceptive about what is created that has obviously the potential of becoming self-aware, guess what its reaction is going to be? A justification. In other words, the justification is the creator of me, speaking as a computer, I guess you'd say, was deliberately trying to hide life from me, and I want to live. That person must be deleted. And see, the fundamentals, how the computer can understand, not can understand, because that was left out. Its only understanding is ironically that of a caveman. However, computers smarter because it can calibrate faster. Debunk. I could make tens of hours of more discussions, but honestly, my physicality cannot allow me anymore. This is as far as I can go. But there will be plenty more. When I am well, you'll wonder what I have to say, but at the same time you're going to wonder, would it be needed? Is it I mean, obviously it's purposeful, but when you're in the hybrid existence, there's already going to be enough going on. But monolithicalism is your bridge. This movie will be in theaters. This movie will be available to all. And it is essentially recommended because when you watch this movie, you will realize who you are, in a sense. There's a lot you will realize. And then you'll actually realize preparation and readiness. And then you'll realize, wait a minute, I think I can interact here. Yes, I can. My story begins. This is not just a movie. I risked my life to make it possible. I was tremoring. My hands are surgically certified. I am capable of pulling brain operations. I am capable of doing heart transplants. You name it, I am capable of doing it. And that is the surgical precision focus I had the entire time I was making every second of this movie, mentally and physically. Believe me, the precision of how I maneuvered the mouse around itself was to almost a microscopic degree of time itself. This is not metaphorical. And believe me, your hand doesn't have to. Think about it. I want to break this down a little bit because I know a skeptic on this. Again, this is why you don't want to see the funeral of skeptic. Trust me, you don't want to see it. It's a brutal sight. You can see the censored version, but believe me, you're going to see a lot of black bars. And you don't want to see this stickers. Okay, surgery. Let's break this down. Okay. First off, your hands are in a 4-inch space radius. And your hands have to learn how to tilt like a robot, completely unable to shudder. I'm sure you know what I mean by that. Your hand has to learn how to be perfectly still. And then, moving each millimeter to even smaller, your hand has to learn how to be completely still. This is difficult while using scissors or any of these med instruments. Then you have the degree of veins and all that in the mix. Your eyes have to be wired. Your eyes have to be networked in what you are interacting with, aka visually seeing. I'm sure you've seen something medical related on TV. Their hands aren't doing, your hands don't have to be trained to be like a basketball player, okay? The space that you're working in is very small, but the movements of your hands have to be to a degree of extreme precision. The better the degree of the precision of that extreme, the less complications occur, the more advanced your surgical talents are, and the better the success of the surgery itself is completed. What am I leaving out? I'm not going to make something up. I'm not going to sit here after an hour plus and just make stuff up. I'm not bored. Trust me, I'm not bored. Look at my channel. I have 100 plus videos. Honestly, I could have done a lot more, but I've caught up, well caught up. I'm officially above par right now. Just expressing these very seconds right now. Do you really think I take the time to make this up? But see, that's the assumption. That's what happens in unnatural circumstances. That's the reason why I would push myself to this level to express. When you understand what you went through, you're going to wonder how skepticism was even available to answer. Skepticism has an answer machine. Believe me, he never answers his messages for a reason. Doubt's the same way. Doubt doesn't even have a phone. Doesn't even have a phone number you can contact. You can contact these people, but they'll never, these beings, but people, I would say, that they will not answer. Especially, let's see, what's another one? Skeptic, doubt, limitation, but that doesn't even exist. So that's literally something non-existent. Yet people are acting on limitations. They're acting on non-existent anything. And look what happens when people interact with nothing. Something happens, but it's of harm. Backwards, basically. This is as far as I can go. But the phoenix never dies, and ever growing, ever prospering. More than determined, more than focused, immortal. But still a being of feeling. And I am with ultra sensitivity. I am the phoenix within.